good chat, man. Today, we got a good video. Not gonna lie, we got a video that's titled "The Problem with the Black Community." A channel called Black Culture Unlocked uploaded this video, and if y'all know I talk about the black community quite a bit on Instagram and on my backup page, Nas the Rebel. Make sure to follow that. And this should be a good video. Well, I don't know what he's gonna say. I don't know if I agree with him or not. I haven't watched this, so I'm curious to see. But based on the cover, I think I'm gonna like this video. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I just hit 30 subscribers. Appreciate y'all for that. All 30 of my subscribers, I appreciate y'all. We're gonna be at 100K soon, man. So, like I said before, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Let's get straight into the video, man.
Truth be told, there are still major concerns about the black community, and in this documentary, we'll be taking a look at some of the most concerning ones. First concern, high rate of black imprisonment. One of the biggest concerns in the black community today is the alarming rate of black incarceration. As far back as 1970, blacks made up just 11.1% of the total American population. But would you believe it if I told you that they accounted for more than 46% of the people locked up in correctional facilities in the entire country? Let me make it clear. America has a total population of about 300 million people, which means 11.1% of that is about 33 million. So, how can a population as small as 33 million make up more than 46% of people locked up in American prisons? But hey, that was back in the 70s. So how do those numbers look now? Well, the stats are still not encouraging. This is because as of 2024, blacks are still topping the charts in terms of races going to prison.
Programs of the drug war continued targeting low-income communities of color with more police, more surveillance, and eventually more incarceration under much harsher sentences.
The black community still has an outrageous representation in American prisons, as about 30% of inmates in 2024 are black.
And I walked out of prison with a lot of optimism, despite being told by the officers that I would probably be back in 6 months.
There are many reasons why black folks form the bulk of the population in US prisons, but we'll get to that later. Before we do, I'd like to share another staggering statistic with you. Believe it or not, but the imprisonment rate among black women in America is twice the number of white women.
But now, the U.S. locks more people up than any other country. More than 2 million Americans are in jails or prisons here, and more than 200,000 of those prisoners are female.
These numbers can only force us to ask a few relevant questions. First, considering just how low the general black American population is compared to the general white population in the US, how come there are far more blacks in prison than whites? Does that mean white folks do not break the law? I mean, for the fact that they are the most populous race in America, surely they must have the larger share of bad eggs, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe black folks just love to break the law. Or have they been systemically coerced by America's predominantly white government to do so? But wait, what if these disastrous numbers paint a picture of a blatant racial prejudice that serves as the social construct of modern-day America? There are many questions to be asked, and they all deserve valid.
You know what it all comes down to? It comes down to the household that you're raised in, black or white. It comes down to who raised you and what type of parents you had. Because if y'all don't know who Vivek Ramaswamy is, he was a presidential candidate this year. He recently dropped out, and he's now endorsing Donald Trump. But he said this, and I've been already thinking this before him, but he brought it back up. He said that the most important thing for the United States is to have, to bring back the nuclear family. Nuclear family is the father, the mother, and kids in the same household. If you look at the black community leads in the percentage of single households, of single mothers. They lead with that. Black fathers don't stay in the house. That's why it's even like a stereotype of like black people don't having fathers, because it's true. Like we lead we lead in statistics about not having fathers. So I think that's why like there's so much more crime in the black community, because when you're raised in a two-parent household, yes, you still can be a criminal, but it shows that, like, numbers even show this. Kids who are come from single family households are more likely to go to jail. That's a proven stat anyone can look up. So I think we need to start with having the father stay in the house.
Honest answers. If these issues are not addressed, then who's to say that Black incarceration will not continue to be a problem for decades to come? Before we ponder too much on this matter, let's take a look at another pressing concern in the Black community. Second concern, high rate of mental illness among Black people. The second concern that we want to discuss is the high rate of mental health problems among African Americans. Mental illnesses, like depression, are quite common among the general population, but studies have shown that its prevalence is especially high in Black communities. According to Mental Health America, an estimated 13.4% of all Americans are Black, and among these, more than 16% have a reported mental illness. This figure equals more than 7 million Black people having to live with these conditions. There are different things that contribute to the high rate of mental illnesses in Black communities, and according to reports, the fact that modern-day racism is still present is a big factor. There are also disparities that need to be taken into consideration here. We have to consider the fact that a lot of Black communities don't have access to the care they need to address these mental illnesses. And when these people don't get the treatment they need, the conditions can have a major impact on their health, quality of life, and productivity. To get a better picture, we should look at some statistics. Studies have found that Black people in the US are much more likely to have feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness when compared to white people in the country. Apart from these, feelings of sadness are also higher in Black communities. When looking at teenagers, the likeliness of attempting suicide is also greater in African Americans. Researchers found that the suicide attempt rate is about 6.1% among white teenagers, but 9.8% among Black teenagers. Between 2008 and 2018, there was also a significant increase in the prevalence of mental illnesses among Black people in the country, and this leads to extra problems. For example, research has also shown that Black people with these illnesses have a greater risk of turning to marijuana, cigarettes, illicit drugs, and binge drinking. Plus, some studies have also stated that Black people tend to be affected by depression at greater levels of severity when compared to other populations or communities. This all creates big problems, as conditions like depression, especially when it goes untreated, can result in poor productivity, issues with concentration, headaches, fatigue, and much more. In the long term, this can have a big impact on the lives and well-being of Black people. Third concern, destruction of the family structure. They say family is everything, and when I say family, I'm talking about a loving home with a father, mother, and kids. A home with responsible parents will more likely raise kids who have morals and discipline. Anything other than that can be absolutely chaotic to individuals and the communities they live in. Unfortunately, a proper family structure has been lacking in America's Black communities for as long as most of us can remember. According to a 2002 study, it was discovered that more than 70% of Black kids in America were illegitimate. Are you surprised? Well, don't be, because there is a strong reason for this.
The very beginning of the welfare system was the passage of the aid to dependent mothers early in the New Deal. And you know what? It was perfectly reasonable.
The disintegration of the Black family structure began in slavery, where they did evil things to tear us apart, but really ramped up in 1963 when the US government declared welfare as a right. Sure, getting money from the government has its perks, but believe me when I say its downsides are much greater. After welfare became law, Black women stopped getting married and began raising kids as single mothers. The case is still the same today, as there are just too many Black households that do not have fathers.
The only way you can not be emotional is you have to have a father who teaches you and trains your emotion. Other than that, your mama, you have to be emotional because that's the only time your mother whoops you. You got no spankings when your mother was calm and not emotional. So that's why you're emotional. You were disciplined with emotions. You weren't disciplined with logical rules to follow.
Right.
You got spanked when you were frustrated. You didn't get spanked calmly and taught why you were being spanked. So you can't undo this, homie. What's done now, we can't undo this. We'll be dead and gone before we see a new group of men that don't respond like us.
As a Black man, what can I instill in a young Black boy to make sure that he doesn't respond with emotion?
Treat his mother right and train your child's emotions. So it means you have to spend time with your son. I mean, you got to spend a lot of time with your son.
For most kids in the hood, Without a father at home, the streets will become their teachers. They'll learn how to use and sell drugs, how to rob, and commit other crimes worthy of sending them to prison. But wait, was this the plan of the white power all along? Of course, everyone should take responsibility for their actions, but it's hard to do the right thing when you've been thrown into a system where it's almost impossible. Growing up without a father will more likely than not leave psychological scars on a child, and too many black kids have had to deal with those scars throughout their entire upbringing. Take a look at Lil RT, a 9-year-old rapper who talks about smacking people with guns and running from the police. Apparently, little is known about his father, while his mother has been the one in charge of promoting his violent and explicit music. I mean, it'll take a miracle for this fatherless kid to refrain from his way of life. But that goes to show just how much the black home has been destroyed. I'll leave you with one more heartbreaking statistic before I move on to the next major concern in the black community. Brace yourself. But has anyone ever told you that 30% of the total number of abortions in the US are done by black women? Hard to believe, but true. And this alarming act is another testament to how much the family structure among black people has been depleted. The high practice of abortion among black women has also led to something even more alarming, which is an increase in the underappreciation of human life. It has also led to a reduction in
this is why I say black people are godless. This is why I say black people are godless. Because I'm not sure about Christianity, but Islam, it teaches that like as a man you need to take care of your family. And in Islam you're not allowed to get abortions. I know in Christianity you're not allowed to get abortions either, I think. But like I feel like this might be controversial, but I feel like the black community would thrive if everyone turned Muslim. Like,
abortion among black women has also led to something even more alarming, which is an increase in the underappreciation of human life. It has also led to a reduction in the civility with which black women treat each other. America knows a strong family is the key to building real wealth and change the world. And as long as we keep up this trend of single-parent households, we will just be doing exactly what they want us to do. We've been brainwashed since birth, but it's time for us to take our power back and realize who we truly are. If you're ready to educate yourself and learn the information they never taught you in school, click the link in our bio.
L plug. I ain't gonna lie. L plug. I ain't plugging his shit.
In our description to grab yours now for free. Fourth concern, the victim mindset.
Video that got a deputy sheriff in Georgia placed on leave. It shows a black man being pinned and beaten during an arrest, and it is provoking outrage online. ABC's Elwin Lopez is in Atlanta with much more. Elwin, good morning to you.
We cannot deny the fact that the powers that be in America have brought poverty, violence, and crime into the black community. As a result of this, a lot of black folks have unfortunately developed a victim mindset. Not to say one shouldn't point fingers in the right direction, but blaming everyone else for your problems will do nothing to move you forward. This is another major concern within our community, as black people have now allowed their victim status to define their true identities.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
Facts.
That's just why they
deep,
chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is.
The worst part is, playing the role of victim can actually stop one from taking responsibility for the things they should be responsible for. You have no power when you play the victim, and you have to take responsibility for your choices. Black folks in the hood need to—
Black people need to stop pointing the finger at the white man and point it at another black man. For like, bro, it's outrageous to me how black people can kill each other all day, and then as soon as a white guy puts his knee on a black guy's neck, everybody loses their mind. Like, bro, I've done seen worse happen, like way worse happen before. Like, okay, I get it. At the end of the day, come on. What are we really doing here? Like, there's so many other black people that kill other black people daily that the Black Lives Matter need to be marching in the projects. Anyways.
Look at things from a more positive angle. Even if you don't have a father figure or good role models to look up to, just take a look at people from our culture who have succeeded in various walks of life. There are black doctors, nurses, pilots, accountants,
That's what I don't get, right? That's what I don't get. I hate when people try to say the system is against us. Nigga, there are black lawyers, there are black doctors, there are black real estate agents, there are black real estate investors, there's black policemen, there are black detectives, there's black this, there's black that. So if the system is oppressing us, how did these black people make it through? Are they just the lucky ones? No, they actually worked hard. They didn't blame the white man, and they did it themselves. They went through school, they did it. You can do it too. But see, it's just such a, and actually, if we're being completely honest, some like jobs and careers will hire you before they hire a white person because of what's it called? What is it called? I think it's called diverse. It's called, no, it's not. I forgot what it's called, but basically, it's like a diversity thing where let's say I had a job, I can't sit there and be like, I'm gonna only hire white people. Well, you can, but I don't know, but it wouldn't be a good look. I feel like you would have to, like, to make your company look good and diversified, you would have to hire women, you would have to hire black people, Spanish people, white people. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say no to someone. Me personally, I would only hire somebody based on if they do the job good. That's what you would get hired on based on me. But unfortunately, a lot of these careers, a lot of these companies, they only hire you because you look good for the company to make it so that they can not come across as racist. You get what I'm saying? So, which I feel like they should stop doing that. Stop giving black people jobs because of, I forgot what the term is, bro. Dang, but stop giving black people and women jobs just because they're black and they're women. Like, stop doing that. And actually, it's an insult, actually, to black people. You might say, like, no, they deserve to give us all the jobs. That we were slaves for 400 years. No, it's an insult, and it's an insult because they don't, you're basically saying I'm not smart enough to do the job myself. Like, I don't want to be pushed through just because I'm black. I want to actually do the job right and earn my role, earn my position. But that's just me, though. I feel like they shouldn't just give black people jobs.
And so on. This is America, a country where you can become anything you want if you put your mind to it. It's true the black community isn't where it wants to be yet, but no one can deny that black Americans have significantly moved up the food chain in terms of wealth. After all, how many black millionaires and billionaires do you know from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s? Not much, I assume. Things have changed today. Entrepreneurship is another great way to create true wealth for yourself. Trust me when I say that having a victim mindset can limit your progress, just as it has limited progress in many of America's black communities. Now, one organization that is actively promoting the victim mindset in America is none other than Black Lives Matter.
Chat, it's called affirmative action. That's what the term is. Look up affirmative action. Actually, I'm ready to look it up right now. As affirmative action effort in the United States to improve employment or educational opportunities for members of minority groups. There's no reason why you should get the job just because you're a certain minority. That's insane to me. I'm not gonna lie.
We want to give you a sense of what happened. We're going to begin tonight in Minneapolis. That's where the Black Lives Matter riots first began almost 2 weeks ago. As the violence there raged, some Democratic leaders in Minneapolis came to a conclusion that didn't, on the surface anyway, make intuitive sense.
And no, I'm not saying black people don't need a voice to speak up for them. I'm just saying that it isn't everything that's the white man's fault. Right. And not every bad thing that happens to a black person is as a result of government propaganda. As insensitive as this may sound, there are black folks who should be in prison for the violent crimes they committed, whether we admit it or not. In the case of Black Lives Matter, everything done to a black person by a white man is labeled as unfair and an injustice, but that should not always be the case. Members of the black community should learn how to look at things more rationally and call it what it is, not what their victim mindset says it is. By doing so, we can properly address the issues that are really affecting our communities, instead of pointing accusing fingers in every direction except ourselves. Fifth concern, modern rap music.
Oh my God.
Music will always
be the biggest one. this might be the biggest one. Rap is completely destroying the whole, like, the community, bro. Rap is destroying everyone. And here's why. You got the drill rappers who's telling the young guys to kill, drill. Then you got the Sexy Reds and the Ice Spices who telling them, be a whore. So they're getting attacked from each side. And then you got Lil Uzi, demonic, devil, shake your hips, devil. Oh, and then another thing is, with the rap community, is that, and see, I put this on Instagram too a while ago. I said back in the 60s, like, the black community, we looked to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and people like that to be our voice. Nowadays, we look to Cardi B. We look to like, just rappers and entertainers and comedians to speak for us. There's no reason. It's just like Kanye West said, I like some of the Gaga songs, but what the fuck does she know about cameras? What do these rappers and entertainers know about politics? What do they know about politics? Why are we trusting Cardi B advice on the vaccine? Yeah, you need to get the vaccine. I got the vaccine. Why are we trusting her with that information? I'm confused. Like, why are we trusting Sexy Red with political advice? Like, that was just an example. But there's no reason why we should be trusting drill rappers to tell us what to do with our lives. Why are we trusting entertainers? We need to be listening to Candace Owens, people who know what they're talking about. We need to be listening to, like, people like that, bro. We need to get back to that. We shouldn't idolize anybody except, we shouldn't look up to anybody but God. But when it comes to experts and who we need to listen to, like, we shouldn't be listening to entertainers and musicians. We need to listen to black people who actually know what they're talking about, and I think that's, like, one of the number one problems with black people. Like, bro, we listen to the wrong people completely. We listen to the people that's pushing this garbage, and that's why, bro. Have you ever think about it like this? Have you ever realized that it makes absolutely no sense for a rapper to get paid more than a doctor? Do you not know the top paid? Who's the most paid rapper right now? The most paid rapper makes more than the most paid doctor. That's insane. That just shouldn't be a thing. That should not be, like, that's ridiculous, bro. Why do you think they pay the rappers so much? Because they're pushing because they need to keep these rappers looking attractive to the kids. When you see a rapper with a bunch of money, when you see him with a bunch of girls, a bunch of cars, you want to be him. You want to live his lifestyle. So therefore, by default, you're gonna listen to what he says. If he says, like, bro, I remember one time they asked Young Thug something, like an important question about something, and he was like, man, I don't know, I'm just a rapper.
I'm special on Mike Brown, the Ferguson situation. What do you think needs to be changed in the way black men are policed in America?
Leave that up with the critics and the laws and all that old shit. We having fun, we iced out, we having money. That's how we doing it.
So you feel like it's not the artist's place to speak on social issues?
I respect that, but it's like, bro, now kids are gonna think like that. They're gonna think real life problems don't matter. You get what I'm saying? There's no black intellectuals no more. All of the black intellectuals are rappers, and they're not intellectual at all. So let's get back to the video.
Be an effective tool for communication around the world. It can be used to teach kids the alphabet. It's used in advertising campaigns, and it helps us get into the right mood. However, music can also be used to send negative messages that can influence the thought processes of those who consume it. Now, according to Billboard, hip-hop is one of the most popular music genres in the world, and being that it's a genre that was created by black folks, it's no surprise that the largest consumers of hip-hop music are us. The problem with rap music nowadays is the negative messages it sends across to the youth, which in turn has now caused a major concern among the Black community. Gone are the days when artists use rap music as a tool to speak against societal ills. Gone are the days when artists spoke truth to power about issues that plague the Black ghettos of America. And gone are the days when artists like KRS-One used his music to teach Black history, as well as open our eyes to the truth. But it wasn't just the politically charged rappers that made rap music the powerful force it was in the 70s and 80s, because rappers like LL Cool J, who weren't what you would call conscious, used their music to talk about love and make you feel good. Unfortunately, all that would change in the late 80s with the advent of rappers like Ice-T and the NWA, who began pushing a subgenre of rap known as gangsta rap. They took hip-hop in a completely new direction. It used to be centered around the upliftment of Black folks by speaking out against racism, segregation, and government policies that were destructive to the Black community. Gangsta rappers rapped about guns, selling drugs, sex, gang violence, and even killing their fellow Black brothers. Now it seems Black folks preferred ignorant music to the conscious ones, because before you knew it, gangsta rap had become far more popular than the original, which promoted peace and upliftment. The NWA sold millions of records when they first came out, and even though they rapped about the ills of police violence on young Black men, the way they presented their message was just too explicit. The Police happens to be one of their biggest songs to date, but like I said earlier, the way the message was presented seemed more violent than diplomatic. Did you know that after the release of this particular song, young Black males thought it was cool to throw rocks and other hard objects at police cars? Did you also know that compliance with the police also reduced drastically among members of the Black community? As for the others who had adopted gangsta rap, they too talked about killing their fellow Black men, degrading women, and selling drugs. Yes, rap became very violent in the 90s. Unfortunately for the Black community, the kids were always listening. Fast forward to modern day, and rap is still as violent as ever. Biggie was shot, Tupac was shot, King Von was shot, Nipsey Hussle was shot, Takeoff was shot, and the list goes on. Unfortunately, as long as Black kids keep idolizing these rappers, then their lyrics will continue to influence how they live in the ghettos. I mean, if a Black boy's favorite rapper says shooting a fellow Black man is cool, then it'll be hard to convince him that Black on Black violence, or violence for that matter, is wrong. But it isn't just Black boys who are at risk of being destroyed by modern day rap music. Young Black girls are also being led astray by the current crop of female rappers who are now dominating the airwaves. Of course,
controversial take, but all female rappers are trash. Like, old Nicki was good. Nicki's still good. But overall trash. Like, all of them are trash. Like, literally Nicki is the best one. Like, and I'm still not bumping her. Like, all female artists are garbage. Like, of course, like, some of them got certain songs I like, kind of good, but overall, garbage.
Female rap isn't as violent as that of their male counterparts. In this case, the problem lies in the over-sexualization of the female body. Rappers like Cardi B, Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj, Sexy Red, and Ice Spice have made it cool for girls to take their clothes off and display their privates on TV and social media. Of course, young Black girls will follow suit, but it isn't just explicit dressing that causes concern for young Black girls. The lyrics are becoming a problem too. I mean, new school female rappers talk about doing all sorts of nasty things with as many men as they—
Can we talk about how R&B is garbage now? R&B used to be so good. Like, early 2000s and 90s R&B used to be like that shit for real, but R&B is completely trash now. Only R&B song I like now is "Nobody Love Me Like You Do, Nobody Gon'." Like, I like that song, but other than that, R&B is garbage.
Please, probably because they have money and feel that Black men should be their boy toys. Now, it's true that everyone has the right to dress as they wish, but let's be honest, no culturally sound Black man would want to marry a girl who talks and dresses like a hoe. Sixth concern, Black on Black crime. We talked about the fact that Black boys are starting to think it's cool to shoot other Black boys. It's a result of rap music that talks about this and makes crime seem like it's okay. And this brings us to another important concern that we shouldn't overlook: Black on Black crime. Apart from rapping, take that completely out of the picture, and we're still left with a big problem where Black people are not only hurting, but also killing those in their own communities. there are some statistics that we should take into consideration here. In one publication, researchers mention that in up to 90% of cases where a black is killed, the killer is actually also a black person. Current evidence also suggests that in 52% of these cases, the victim and the killer knew each other. But how do these rates compare to whites and other ethnic groups? Well, it was found that the rate of black on black crime is up to 8 times higher compared to black on white crime. There are different potential reasons for the higher rates of crime when looking at blacks killing blacks compared to
God damn, how many ads this nigga got, bro?
at blacks killing blacks compared to other ethnic groups. One aspect that has been discussed is the psychological well-being of people in black communities. There are crime prevention programs in place, but they don't really address the fact that psychological elements are in play when it comes to looking at black on black crime. For example, it has been found that self-hatred plays a big role in this type of crime. When a black person experiences a serious level of self-hatred, it sometimes results in blind rage, and in this case, crime and murder may follow, justified by their own self-hatred. Of course, there have been cases where the statistics are falsified. When Donald Trump was a presidential candidate back in 2015, he published an image on Twitter where he claimed that among black people who are killed, in 97% of cases, the killer is another black person. He also alleged that among white people who are murdered, 80% of the cases, there's a black killer behind it. This was deemed as false information when a universal crime report from the FBI was released. Yes, the number of black people being killed by others of their own community was alarmingly high, at 90%. The accusations against blacks for the death of whites were completely wrong. According to the FBI, this figure was actually 14.8%. After an 11-year-old boy, Devon McNeil, was shot, his grandpa made a statement that really shook the community. Now, first, you should understand that McNeil was black, and the suspects in the shooting, they were also black people. His grandpa said that, as he sees things, black lives only matter, specifically focusing on the Black Lives Matter campaigns and awareness protests when someone from the police pulls the trigger of a gun. Now, one thing that we do know is that police brutality against black people still remains an important point today. But McNeil's grandfather did mention something important. When it comes to these campaigns, we shouldn't just be focusing on police brutality. We need to look within our own communities as well, such as in this case, where a black man was the one to pull the trigger of the gun, and it ended up killing a black boy. Thus, black on black crime is something that we shouldn't forget about or overlook. It still remains a really big problem in black communities, and it's something that pulls our people apart instead of bringing us together as a community. 7th concern, blacks not supporting black businesses.
Okay, chat, right quick, with that black on black one, right? You know why that gets me? You know why that blows me so bad? Because literally, black people kill black people every single day. And when George Floyd got killed by the dude, literally there was white people marching with the black people downtown in the city. And they were marching and, yeah, BLM, BLM. So my thing is, y'all will march downtown and be loud as ever, but when a black kid gets killed in the projects, why aren't y'all marching around the projects? Why aren't y'all doing it? Why where's the marching? I'm confused. Like, where's the chants? Where's the protesting? I'm just confused on why it takes for a white person to kill us for us to say BLM, and for the white people, the Hispanics, the trans, everybody's down there when it's BLM. But when it gets to black people killing black people, let them kill each other. They've been doing it. Let them kill each other. That's insane, bro. It's insane. Like, it's really insane. But
last thing we want to talk about is black businesses. And for this, let's first take a look at the history of black businesses. And for this, we'll have to go back to a horrific time in black history, or rather, before these tragic events happened. You see, in the later periods of the 1800s, there was a town formed in North Georgia. It was named Oscarville and held a black community. The community was thriving. There were black-owned businesses, and people truly supported each other. The town was later invaded by white people from Forsyth County, and the blacks were chased out. Today, the town has been flooded by what we now know as Lake Lanier. And while this is horrible, that's not the point we're making here. The point of the story is the fact that over 100 years ago, there was a town where black people had their own businesses and truly were supportive of each other. We often focus on the bad parts of black history, But take a look at the current black communities. We've made a lot of progress over the years, and we've come a long way. But there's something that's really concerning. We might have made progress in terms of racism and equality, but we failed in the area of supporting each other. There are a lot of black-owned businesses, but here's something to ask yourself. How long ago did you actually support one of these businesses?
Bro, you wanna know something funny? Like, literally, I'm gonna say this quick, chat. I know y'all got shit to do. But, bro, it's so funny because black people don't support each other. Like, at all. Like, not even with just businesses, but, like, it could be something completely free online, and they're not gonna support it. And literally, if you're black and you live in a black neighborhood, like, literally, go through your neighborhood and look at all the stores. I bet it's a 7-Eleven that an Indian owns. It's a corner store that a Hispanic or African owns, or it's gonna be just something that isn't owned by an African American. And it's because first, they don't own anything, and second, here's the thing, like, my bad for speaking fast. I'm drinking the coffee. It makes me speak like I just be wired, bro. But anyways, like, literally, the Arabs, Africans, Hispanics, whites, they literally come into our neighborhoods, build businesses, and extort us, and we just give them the money. Like, chat, please, like, use your common sense. Do you think that you, as a business owner, can go into a Jewish neighborhood and set up a business there, and you're gonna thrive? Absolutely not. You will be out of business in one day. I can bet my life on it. There's no reason why black people shouldn't be supporting black people. Like, it's good to support other people sometimes, but at the end of the day, like, we need to build our community up. Bro, you know how much money we spent? I think we spent like billions of dollars on Jordans. We spent billions of dollars on Jordans, bro. We're not broke. Black people aren't broke. But the thing is, we're putting the money into the wrong places. We're not putting it into the community. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know how much shit? Like, there's no reason why Richmond City schools should be, well, I'm not even just gonna say Richmond, but inner city schools should be way much better with all the money that black people touch a year. But it's not, because black people are spending money on the wrong things. We're buying Jordans, designer, etc., etc., etc. Like, it's really outrageous if you think about it. But yeah, black people just need to support each other, man. I'm not gonna take up any more of y'all time. So if y'all like this video, I probably could do a part 2 on this, because there's so much more to talk about. I could talk about like certain aspects of this video, but in more detail, if y'all want me to. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on the video, and turn on post notifications. We're gonna be back soon. Peace.